A brief break. The calm before the storm. And here we go. Kiwikaki in the yellow trunks right here on the Lost Temple, playing Protoss, as you might imagine, versus his opponent, the one and only Morrow, in the purple trunks, playing as the Zerg at the south of this particular map. Will this one go on forever? We will find out. GLHF, let's see what Kiwikaki can pull out of his hat. I think what was proven there is, Morrow is really into the so-called macro game. He loves the economy. He loves mining. I can imagine as a child, he was probably involved in playing more SimCity than he was in Doom. Would I be correct in that assumption? Certainly a possibility. He's a big fan of the economy. He's a big fan of capitalism, and he is pushing forward with that strategy. Kiwikaki tried to match him on the macro front, and he did a stand-up job of doing so, but at the end of the day, it wasn't quite enough. So I have to wonder if Kiwikaki is going to get more aggressive early to prevent Morrow from spreading over and mining everything. Seems there were no resources left on the Metalopolis at all. Absolutely none. No point in even being there. Strip mined of absolutely everything. It was brutal, folks. There were protests from green activists. I can tell you that for a fact. Caused a global warming effect on the Metalopolis. It's now become uninhabitable because the entire area has been flooded. Like polar bears floating around on ice caps and everything like that. Can you believe it? Well, you never know. You never know what these maps get up to when you're not looking. You only see these tiny little snapshots of the life of those maps. All sorts of crazy stuff could be going on. Morrow with the extractor. Morrow with the dancing drone. Morrow looking for a spawning pool. Morrow gets his spawning pool expansion after that, by the looks of it. Kiwikaki. He has absolutely no extractors. Forge once again. Most likely either into the fast expansion or into the cannon rush. Have to see which works out better for him. Might be able to do cannon on the natural expansion of his opponent. It is a possibility. Having now spotted the fact that his opponent, Morrow, has gone into the spawning pool first. Pylon coming up right there as well to support it. Kiwikaki's hanging around, though. It's looking very likely he's not going to go for cannon. He's going to try and simply go straight into a Nexus. And by the looks of it, he's pretty quick. He's going to be able to get the Nexus before his opponent. He has 400 minerals. Is he going for the Nexus? No, he's not. Cannon right there. His opponent straight into metabolic boost. 2 Zerglings on the way. Cannon will defend against that quite nicely. Doesn't need to worry about that. He's already proved he can defend against the early Zergling aggression of Morrow. And there's that Nexus. Looking to try and beat Morrow at his own game. Get that early economic advantage. Morrow not actually expanding, though. Not yet. He's following up with a drone right there, so the expansion is coming in imminently. 2 drones on the way. 2 more. Now, 4 drones isn't going to be able to run that line too effectively. Double photon cannon coming up for Kiwikaki. There's no way it's running past that. Absolutely not. And he's going to find that out if he decides to give it a bash. Kiwikaki's probe is in grave peril. Nice surround. Maybe. Almost. Slippery individuals probes. Very slippery. No escape from that, but he is doomed. It's only a matter of time. Morrow scouts it. Morrow knows he can't run it. Response is predictable. Roach Warren coming in straight away to break that line. Gateway finally up and a 3rd photon cannon. That is quite the wall, folks. It's a dangerous wall. I wouldn't want to go anywhere near it. The question is, can Kiwikaki get that economic advantage he's been looking for? Morrow now, only now, going into that expansion. And why not? Of course, because he knows for a fact that he has to respond to the Forge fast expansion of his opponent. How is he going to do it? With Roaches. Get Roaches out quicker. That's the way to do it. Except for the fact that he's now cancelled his Roach Warren and made me look like an idiot. There you go. Roach Warren now up. Once again, cancels out of that. Uses the extractor trick a little bit later on in the game. Get himself an extra drone. Pops out an Overlord as well. Here comes the aggression from mouz Morrow. He doesn't have too much, though. He's no way he can run that gauntlet. Not happening. Kiwikaki has walled himself off completely. I'm fairly sure there's no way he can actually get in there now. 4 cannons. Pretty damn secure. Question is, what is Kiwikaki going to do in response? Well, it makes perfect sense. He's just going to sort himself out with the Simon X core, warp in and rely on that for the time being. He doesn't have any proxy pylons outside of his base, but there's nothing stopping him putting one right there, for instance, down near the edge of his base, which is exactly what he's just started to do, so he can warp in past the cliff. Now, He needs those line breakers. He's got to get those roaches out if he wants to even think about breaking through that. But that's just going to take so bloody long to get through. Simon X-Core coming beside that as well. And while they're beating through right there, as Kiwikaki is well aware that his opponent is going to respond with roaches to try and break that line, while he's doing that, he's going to be sniping off right there with those 4 photon cannons. Kiwikaki grabs his second assimilator. And grab another one right there, as he does. That's 3. Looking for a 4th. Right now, Morrow simply concentrating on his economy more so than anything else. The thing is, bear in mind, he knows he's pretty damn safe right now. Kiwikaki has a formidable defensive line, but nothing to attack with. So that gives Morrow the opportunity he needs to simply build. A couple of spine crawlers going down there to prevent a little bit of early harassment. 2 sentries on the way, 2 zealots already up for Kiwikaki. Morrow, what are you going to do to break that line? Are we going to see something creative? Possibility. Lair on its way. Looking perhaps for some mutalisks maybe just to sneak their way past here. This is incredibly vulnerable. 1 gateway, 2 gateway, 3 coming up for Kiwikaki as well. Sitting on 4-5 gateways. You know, Kiwikaki doesn't like to conform to your pitiful ideas of gateways. For instance, he is now building 5 gateways in addition to what he already has, which is 2. Yeah. What's this build called? I call it Kiwikaki building whatever he can build. And it works. Absolutely no question about that. And with that amount of numbers, he's going to be able to warp in heavy stalkers, heavy sentry, heavy zealot. He can warp in around here. Morrow's not keeping an eye on that pylon either. He does have a overlord hovering around at the top of the base. Morrow continues to scout around with that, looking to see if there's any sneaky expansions, or indeed, more to the point, things like proxy stargates. No nonsense of that description, though. Evolution chamber coming up for Morrow. Robotics facility on its way. Those gateways are pretty much complete now, transferring into warp gates. Hydralisk Den on its way for Morrow. Interesting. If it's heavy stalker play, those Hydralisks could do pretty well. Looking for heavy zealot, though. We really just don't know at this point. 4 gas up, so that would suggest heavy stalker, with a few sentries in there for good measure. Level 1 weapon upgrade coming up as well. Unit count right now, 4 Kiwikaki. 5 Stalkers, 4 Sentry, 2 Zealot, up against 3 Roaches and 8 Zergling, 4 mouz Morrow. Economy-wise, we have a look at the income, pretty much equal right now. Morrow's been going to town on the creep spread, not that you can really blame him, he's been left unmolested there for the time being. Observer now out for Kiwikaki as well, tries to snipe away at the overlords, he's going to get it, is he going to get it, is he going to get it? Very close to the... Yeah, there you go, just gets it, and then warps in Stalkers immediately to follow that one up. Now he's going to have to blast his way out of his own damn base, which is exactly what he's going to do. He's going to take a gateway out there. Well, he's got spare. Who cares? Oh, that gateway? That's... I can just imagine Kiwikaki is just some really rich guy in a top hat. Oh, gateways. Yes, I have 30 of those. They're all gold-plated. I have 7 wives. They all live in the various different gateways. Like, oh, would you like a gateway? Yes, I have some spare. What? Okay, creep tumors are doomed. Now going to push his way in, and he's got a heavy unit count. He's got 15 Stalkers. He's up against 6 Roaches, 2 Hydras. That's a foregone conclusion. However, there are more Hydras on the way with Groot Spine upgrade and Zergbasal attack level 1. Ups the block. Make sure that he can't get anywhere near that. There you go. Now needs to bring in the firepower on the Spine Crawlers, which are reaping a heavy toll right here. Brings down 1 Stalker. Looks for another. Can he get it? Yes, he can. Takes the sentry there. Needs to bring that line down. That is doing so much damage. And now the Hydras are coming to back it up. Attack faltering there by Kiwikaki. He's got to back off. He doesn't really have a choice in the matter. Hydra sniping at him as he leaves. Good counter by Morrow there. Very nicely played. Robotics Bay coming up as well. Again, this is sort of playing out in the same kind of way. He's bringing out those Colossi to deal with the Hydra heavy force. And he's looking to try and get that attack well-timed so his opponent doesn't have time to react to the Colossi. And if that's the case, then he should be able to deal with it. Kiwikaki, though, still sitting on a fairly hefty force. 16 Stalkers and 2 Sentries. Looking to ram that down the throat of mouz Morrow, who has 20 Hydralisks right now, plus those 3 Spine Crawlers. So that's not going to end too well for Kiwikaki, honestly, but he might be looking for it anyway. Proxy Pylon warping in. He's got plenty gateways, and he takes a gold mineral, a very risky gold mineral, right next to his opponent. Snipes off one with the Observer. Nicely done. Observer keeping an eye on the cliff face, making sure we don't get any sneaky sniping. Hate bloody camping, sniping Hydralisks, I tell you that for a fact. So awful. So very, very awful. Okay, 2 Roaches on the way, more Roaches on the way. We're looking at 12 already. Okay. That's fine, Kiwikaki. Just keep building whatever you like. I'm totally fine with you building 5 freaking photon cannons in the middle of nowhere. Why not? Extended thermal lance upgrade coming out right there with the Colossus, and that gives him a good beachhead as well, and he can continue to warp in his forces and apply pressure. That keeps the momentum and, more importantly, the map control in his favor because of this. He wants to keep this nice and safe. Here comes the engagement once again, a nice split. He's able to annihilate a few roaches at the front line as the rest desperately try to get their way past to help their brother, and it's not going to happen, though. Photon cannons. More photon cannons, Kiwikaki. 7 photon cannons. Colossus coming in right now. Honestly, mouz Morrow reacts to the photon cannons in the way that you would expect by building 13 roaches. Be a good idea. Hydralisk pushing their way forward. There is a Colossus up. He's bringing in a second one as well. Extended thermal lance won't be available for another 13 seconds. 30 seconds even. mouz Morrow not even giving him that kind of chance. But once again, he can't charge in there. But he can try and deploy those spine crawlers. One sniped off before it even gets a shot off. You know, Kiwikaki, you could try moving that Stalker. It's not going to happen, though. In we go once again. Very patient. And in comes the massed firepower, the photon cannons. Colossi ripping their way through right here. Trying to deal with the spine crawler. Not going to happen now, but he's going to force his way in this time. mouz Morrow forced backwards. 19 Hydralisks and 6 Roaches, and the Colossus is up. Second one on its way. Now the second Colossus is available. 25 Stalkers now. And look at this. This is what starts to make the difference right here. The economy of Kiwikaki is streaming ahead. He has 20 more harvesters than his opponent, and the 1 base advantage. That is lethal. And more to the point, he's got mouz Morrow stuck right there. This is really problematic for Morrow. 3 gateways coming up with a proxy right there. Here we go once again. Ripping the way through the Roaches, no problem at all. And now the Colossi fight. Good game.